Shalom and welcome to another episode in our series called Israel on Location. Today we're actually standing on Herodian pavement, and you can see behind me the stones that once toppled from the temple in 70 AD as a result of the Romans. We're here at an excavation called the Davidson Center. The South Wall excavations, although the South Wall is just around the corner. We're actually on the western side of the Temple Mount. In fact, you can see the retaining wall here on the west side. There behind me and above me. The southwest corner, as we'll see in just a moment, though there it is, right there, was where the priest would blow a silver trumpet, according to Josephus, and proclaim with the blowing of that shofar or trumpet the beginning and the end of the Shabbat. People would have heard him announce that by means of this trumpet, and they would have then known when Shabbat began on Friday night or Friday afternoon late during the winter time, when it gets darker, of course, earlier, and 3 stars appear in the sky. On Saturday night as well, when the stars would appear, Shabbat would be over, the trumpet would be blown. But these stones here are massive stones, most likely toppled on the 9th of Av in 70 AD by the Romans. They surrounded the city. This was the first revolt the Jews had against the Romans, starting in 66 and then 67. By 70 AD, the Romans now finally surround Jerusalem and they take it. They destroy the temple, and these stones probably toppled all the way from the top of this wall, although the height of this wall today now is made up of stones and layers of stones that are from a later time period. But these stones are here to give us an idea of how massive this retaining wall was. In fact, let me just go up here a little in the shade, and you can now look down to those stones. Jerusalem would be destroyed, as Jesus would predict in some of his sermons, if you will. As he is in Jerusalem, he said 1 generation from now this would happen. There are many mikvaot, or mikveh, ritual baths, here along this southwest corner of the temple, and certainly on the south end as well. I think something like 30, 32, I could be wrong in the number, just here near the temple. I think in Jerusalem there's over 100 ritual baths that have been found. So let's go over to the southwest corner and we'll finish this up as we again talk about how significant the temple was, not only during the times of Solomon, but especially in the days of Jesus. So now you see what we're walking on. It's a pavement. This pavement actually extended from this area of the western side of the temple all the way down to the Pool of Siloam. High above us, also, here at the corner of the temple, would have been where the priest stood. Now, this staircase is now closed for us today. That doesn't allow us to sort of get a good view of what we're looking at here, but here's a replica also of something that's quite significant. This is a replica of an inscription that was found here on the pavement below, but it once was at the very top of this pinnacle, the southwest corner. And it says, "To the place of trumpeting." So this gives us a good indication that the priest stood way above us and announced the beginning and the end of the Shabbat. Look at this pavement. It's really well preserved. This pavement that no doubt Jesus and his disciples walked on as well. But over my shoulder, you can see how large these stones were. These are Herodian stones. Look how massive they are. There's even one further to the north along this western retaining wall called the Master Course. Some believe that that's almost 580 tons in weight. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but no doubt hundreds of tons, no doubt. And how in the world did they place them here? These are massive stones chiseled from a quarry a few kilometers to the north, most likely. So they rolled them and then put them perfectly into place. It's quite remarkable, the engineering of the temple itself. But let's end with this. Jesus says, destroy this temple and I'll rebuild it in 3 days. That's so interesting because someone said, hey, what do you mean 3 days? It took 46 years. This is John 2, I believe. It took 46 years to build the temple, and that really is a testimony to Herod the Great, who began this project of the temple in about 20 BC. So at this point, the temple was still in progress, if you will. The finishing touches were not complete yet. And Jesus, of course, in that statement is making a statement of his resurrection 3 days after. And that's exactly what would happen here in Jerusalem, as Jesus would die on a cross, he would be buried in the tomb, and then 3 days later, he rose again. So here is this pavement and the southwest corner of the temple. Just so impressive to understand how this temple was the building of the region. It was a massive building, and even the disciples, as they walked out of the temple one day, it's recorded in Mark 13, they turn around and they go, wow, what a magnificent building. So as we are impressed with the temple, let's remember that we are the temple, according to what Paul would write in the book to the Corinthian church. We are the temple of God as God's Spirit dwells within us, and as the reign and rule of Christ also inspires us to live out the kingdom principles. So here, I just hear a shofar right there. It's Thursday today, and you hear it maybe in the background. It's bar mitzvah day. A lot of bar mitzvahs happen here on Mondays and Thursdays as the law, the Torah, is read. A portion of the scripture that is read was the one that was read at the day on the boy's birth. So bar mitzvah day too, and maybe you heard that shofar in the background. So thanks for hanging out, and until next time, shalom.